Prioritize interaction and collaboration in synchronous learning opportunities. There is strong evidence that the social, emotional, and cognitive dimensions of learning are deeply linked, so schools need to structure time to provide meaningful student interaction. Pre-recorded lectures, videos, and readings should be assigned for students to engage with on their own time before whole class meetings. Synchronous instruction should be used primarily for interactive activities, those focused on engaging students in collaborative, higher order tasks and building the classroom community.
Conduct regular formative assessments and provide prompt feedback to students and families. For students, receiving feedback on their learning is one of the most powerful influences on their engagement and achievement. This is all the more important for distance learning because of the absence of in-person exchanges. Feedback on learning and participation is also important for families to know how to best support their distance learner. Quality feedback depends on regular formative assessments, and fortunately, there are several tools and websites for online assessment that teachers can leverage. Ongoing assessment will be especially critical now because teachers will need to calibrate their instruction to meet greater and more varied academic needs.
Provide regular, individualized contact for each student. The social emotional needs of students have intensified as a result of extended social isolation and other stressors related to COVID-19. Schools should be organized to ensure that students receive proactive, consistent, and positive contact from a staff member or a school partner to check in on their general well-being, as well as their learning experiences. This caring adult should be supported to notice areas of concern and to connect students and their families to necessary supports.
Focus on accelerating learning of grade level content. The content that should have been covered in the spring of 2020 cannot be assumed to have been delivered, received, or retained. We know students will be arriving this fall with significant learning gaps, which will require bridging last year's curricula with what students will be expected to learn in the coming year. Additionally, we know remediation strategies are less likely to support the student groups that were most adversely affected by the school shutdowns. Districts can help provide guidance by setting instructional priorities and drawing on teachers' experiences from this past spring, while also providing additional time for collaboration.
Conduct an after-action review and needs assessment. With the announcement of school closures in March 2020, districts scrambled to transition to distance learning. There are important lessons for each district to take away from their distance learning rollout that can bear improvement on their approach in the fall. The after-action review is a model for structured reflection that originated in the U.S. military to glean lessons from completed missions. Districts can apply this model to get diverse stakeholders at the table to assess what were our intended results, what were our actual results, what caused our results, and what will we sustain or improve.
Set instructional priorities and help develop viable curricula. It will be a huge challenge for educators to keep students on grade level this fall while faced with unprecedented levels of student need. Districts can help in two key ways. Number one, set clear instructional priorities for each grade. Number two, encourage teachers to work together within grade levels to plan lessons and co-develop materials. The focus this fall must be on delivery of grade level content with just-in-time supports to provide instruction on content students may have missed or forgotten.
Develop and communicate clear roles and expectations. Educators, students, and families need a clear vision that focuses on what districts and schools would like them to accomplish, how they can achieve those accomplishments, and the supports they can access to realize that vision. Now, how districts and schools communicate that vision is equally as important. And so communicating early, frequently, and using two-way communication strategies can be reassuring and help build trust.
Support educator well-being and professional development. The change to distance learning has been a professional and personal challenge for a lot of teachers, and many could use support on curriculum development, best instructional practices, and student engagement in the new distance or blended contexts. Districts can also help by listening and responding to educator needs, by protecting collaboration time, by connecting adults and students with mental health supports, and by offering high quality professional development.
Reconceptualize educator roles and team structures. Distance learning strategies provide an opportunity for schools and districts to reimagine educator roles. Because we know distance learning requires a shift in teaching, we shouldn't expect staff to have the same roles and responsibilities as they would in traditional in-person schooling. Districts and schools should consider redistributing responsibilities across staff supporting the same or similar groups of students. This can include division of live instruction, formative assessment, family outreach, small group instruction, and content creation. The roles of other support staff, including para-educators and content specialists, can also be creatively deployed in service of meeting student learning needs.
Assess student well-being and develop systems to respond to greater student needs. To address student well-being and learning needs, we need a clear picture of what those needs are. Assessment of student well-being can help educators personalize instruction, identify students in need of support, and connect those students to the resources that they need. Districts that use actionable assessment tools in their larger COVID response strategy will be prepared to direct their resources to support their students.